Hello again, everybody. This is Robbie Blasser doing the second video newsletter blog for thewarforheaven.com. So if you're getting this, it means you signed up on our landing page. So thank you again for doing that. In the first one, we talked about the genesis of the idea, kind of where it came from. And now we're going to talk about my basic approach. My basic approach began with first looking into the other major works about this subject matter. Obviously, I didn't invent this, so there were some other works that came before, and it's kind of responsible of me to look into them. And to my surprise, most of the major works, pretty much all the major works that dealt with this subject, going back to Paradise Lost or even the Bible, were really more concerned with the aftermath of the events of the war for heaven, of the war in heaven. And they weren't really concerned with the actual lead up and build up and execution of it itself, which was very surprising to me because I would have thought somebody would have done this by now, or at least have a major work about it. I'm sure other people have. But it really wasn't there. So that was great for me because I got to kind of play in the sandbox in the way that I wanted to, and there wasn't a whole lot that I had to kind of concern myself with in terms of ripping anybody off because, again, just for the most part, it wasn't really there. And so then I got to decide for myself kind of what I wanted the actual story and events to be about. And what I realized very quickly is that, what this story was missing was characters. And it had characters in the sense of God and Lucifer and Michael and Gabriel, but those were more participants. They weren't characters in the sense of kind of being fully formed, fleshed out characters that were, for lack of a better word, human. When I say human, I don't mean literally human, of course. I mean like they have a humanity to them. And that was really what I wanted to do. I wanted to take the four central characters, make it very small, give them, imbue them with a sense of humanity, and make it about them and their relationships. Make them a family and have these events be a byproduct of their family dynamic and their relationships and how they grow or how they fall apart. Just because I thought that would be incredibly interesting. Again, no one had really done that in a major way that I have come across, and that kind of, for me, was the most ripe subject matter. So that's really all I wanted. And any sort of, because the battles will take care of themselves, and any kind of theological or philosophical commentary would arise kind of organically from those relationships. They wouldn't be anything that I'd want to put in, forcefully. Okay, so that was the idea. That was the approach. That's what I wanted to do. And what I found as I was writing it, though, is even though I wanted to make it about a small family, I was still dealing with God, and I was dealing with the devil, and I was dealing with Western religion, and in some ways the origin story of Western religion, and that kind of came with some problems that I had to kind of work out and negotiate as I went along this path. And that's going to be the subject of our next newsletter. It's sort of, this was about kind of what I wanted the project to be, and now next time I'm going to talk to you about kind of what I didn't want it to be and what I wasn't trying to do. But we will cover that when we get there. In the meantime, thank you again for signing up. If you could share this with as many people as possible, get people's eyes on the landing page that you think might be interested between now and when the Kickstarter begins in June, I would very much appreciate it. In the meantime, again, this is Robbie Blasser saying thank you very much, and I hope you have an awesome week.